What's good is Dejon Paul from a Danley Magazine, LA Rap Report Card. And I'm sure you guys have been seeing all the drama and commotion on the timeline about this past episode of a Danley podcast. Basically, me and my cousin, who goes by Auuntieee, we had a big clash and a falling out on the episode because I feel like when I talk about music, her and my other co-host Corey, they get quiet. When I talk about messy podcast shit to get them engaged, they get quiet. So it's like at this point, what am I supposed to talk about? Like TikToks or something? Like, what are we doing? Like every time I bring up an LA music topic, you get quiet or you weren't interested. You ain't really got nothing to say. You like, oh, it was cool, or something real short and brief, and just act like you're not interested. But then when it's time to talk about the messy podcast shit, you get quiet. Auuntieee gets quiet because she don't want to piss off her friends at FMW. And so it's like, okay, so like, what are you here for? Low key, but let's check it out. Let's definitely get into it.
I don't feel like content-wise, for the content narrative, I don't see you.
I'm not a content really as.
We're doing like content. That. This is content.
Yeah,
we're doing content.
It ain't that deep to me.
We're doing content.
That's a nasty disposition.
Last but not least, Corey still follows Stat to this day.
Before we get to the Corey follows Stat, hold on. She said, I don't really do content. Nah, it's not that deep. Woo, woo, woo. So you'll go on Ace Boyz Worldwide, shake your ass, have your ass out, have your pussy out, have your titties out, pepperonis in the chat on camera. You'll go do that. But I just want you to sit here and tell me what songs you like, what songs you don't like, what projects you like, what projects you don't like, how you feel about this rapper, how you feel about that rapper. That's doing too much. Or I want you to engage in the messy conversations about when I'm going at war with Apollo, when I'm going at war with Fair to Say, when I'm having my back and forth with T-Rail, I want you to engage and have something to say. For you to put your 2 cents on that, that's doing too much. But you'll go on Yam Cam, ass all out, pussy print all out, titties all out, pepperonis in the chat. You don't do content, but you shake your ass and show your titties. Again, people gotta, I'm a big believer, people gotta be where they want to be. People gotta be wherever you feel happy, wherever you feel that's your crowd, that's your village, that's where you need to be. You need to be around the people that make you happy. So if that's your environment, if you happy at Ace Boyz, if that's where you feel most comfortable, baby girl, that's where you should be. Don't let me bore you to death. I'm not trying to bore you with my hip-hop journalism and occasional content beefs, controversy and stuff like that. If that's not your lane, if you just want to shake ass and get drunk and twerk and yam cam and pepperonis in the chat, if that's what you want to do, please go do it. I've never stopped you from doing that. I've actually asked, like, when you going back on Ace Boyz, when they gonna have you on there, when her project drop. I'm like, damn, Pun not gonna have you on Ace Boyz to promote your new project. He had Mark Nasty on the week Mark Nasty shit dropped. I'm asking, like, what's up? When Diva came out, why you not on Ace Boyz? So I've definitely pushed for her to still be a part of Ace Boyz despite being on this podcast. We don't even film on the same day. Ace Boyz Friday night. We do our show Wednesday night. So again, if you're not happy at a Danley with this format, by all means, Ace Girls it up. Ace Boyz it up. Please. I'll be in the chat leaving fire emojis. I'm not tripping. Oh, Corey still follows Stat.
Yes or no? Deny it.
What are you following him for?
Deny it.
Why do I follow him? Because I don't.
Because you got this man writing this shit down on the paper. He went to your followers.
Yes.
He went to your followers,
That's all you still follow
and
Stat.
see that y'all still follow each other.
I mean, he do more work on my Instagram than I do. I don't give a fuck about following.
You still?
You ain't
Okay, so you see how Yazzers even clip and skip past what Corey had to say. That's how lackluster and boring Corey is. Even when he talked with such little energy and conviction. It's like, oh, I don't give a fuck. Okay, so why are you on the couch? Like, why are you on my couch taking up so much space if you don't give a fuck about nothing? Like, you just sit up here and don't give a fuck about this. You too cool to talk about this. You too cool to talk about that. Whenever the conversation do get a little too ladies' night, as he call it, you irritated. You ain't got nothing to say. Okay, so why are you here? Because you don't have nothing to say. You don't have nothing to say about music. You get quiet when it's about podcast messy shit, even when you get thrown in the mix. Even when Apollo is saying that you gay, even when Heather said that you was my boyfriend, you never crashed out. You never had nothing to say. that was worthwhile. Everything's lackluster and boring. You just taking up a lot of space on the couch, and it's boring, and nobody wants to watch that. And it's like my father told me, like, Corey, he would tell me, like, my father watches every episode of everything I do. He said, like, Corey brings absolutely nothing to your show. And he was right. I should have believed him and handled that situation that very week. Corey brings absolutely nothing to this podcast. You know, he just sits there and he don't have no energy. He don't have no motivation, no purpose. Every now and then he crack a little joke or something, or like we'll have like banter. He'll crack some jokes with me. But to me, that's like a supporting role. That's not somebody that should be in the thumbnail. That's like a John or what's the other light skinned guy on Apollo? Forgot, he's like a Kev or something. Like, you know, supporting roles, you know, homies that come around every now and then on a few episodes and crack jokes and, you know, add a little bit to the conversation here and there when they can, but that's not a cast member. Corey doesn't give cast member vibes, and having it. Also, I feel like that's why this season has been so dry. Let's keep going.
If a cast is divided, if a cast is divided,
Nobody to ride with me.
Okay, you don't need nobody to ride with you. You ride by yourself. Okay, if I don't need nobody to ride with me and I ride by myself, then I need to be on this show by myself. Why am I filming with co-hosts if I don't need them to have my back and support me and talk about music with me and then get into the messy topics with me and have my back in that regard? What are you here for? Like, she's saying, I don't need nobody to ride with me. Okay, go do a show by yourself. I need to go do a show by myself if I don't need nobody to ride with me. Why would I have co-hosts if they not riding with me? Why are y'all on my show? Like I said, somewhere in this clip or somewhere on the stream, I said, when T-Rail gets into it with academics or Adam or whoever the fuck he getting into it with, Heather and Smack or Smack and Heather is right there. 6'2", Jack 2, they all right there to support him and go at that nigga. If it's fuck T-Rail, then it's fuck you. That's what they on. You know, on Ace Boyz, if Stad or Brick Baby or whoever is beefing with Pun, is coming at Pun, they right there. You get what I'm saying? I deserve the same thing. So all I can do is pray that one day God give me co-hosts that actually have my back. And if they see somebody on another show talking shit about me, they gonna at least say, hey, watch out. This is my friend. This is my co-host. Y'all got my co-host fucked up. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking you to slash nobody's tires, bust the windows out nobody's car. I'm simply asking you to have my back. And I definitely shouldn't have to beg my own cousin, flesh and blood, to have my back against her friends. Like, that makes no sense. Like, your friends should respect you enough that they wouldn't even fix their mouth to be calling me gay slurs and that. But she don't see how that's them disrespecting her. Because if my friends is disrespecting my cousin, they really disrespecting me. You saying I'm soft. You saying I'm pussy. You saying I'm scared. You saying I'm weak. I could do whatever I want to you. That's what you saying. You calling Auntie a mark by disrespecting her cousin. That's what y'all doing, because you know she not gonna do nothing back. She not gonna say nothing back. She not even gonna speak up for me, speak up for herself in that regard. That's how I feel about it. Let's keep going though.
Clearly, I've been writing by myself. Clearly, the Black Card is by myself. The Complex Mix is by myself. The LA Fight becomes Friday in a row is by myself. Everything I do.
That's another thing. It's like a Dan Lay podcast is the only thing I do that's not viral. Rap report cards, viral, all the other lists and memes I put out throughout the year go viral, be reposted on other pages. We just seen back on Fig repost like 4 or 5 of my lists and bring it up on the screen when RJ was there. That comes up, that happens on several different podcasts. It even still happens on No Jumper, even though we not necessarily on the best of terms. I still get my list, my content still gets brought up on all the other platforms and goes viral. The only thing I do that flops, quote unquote, is a Dan Lay podcast, and that's because my co-hosts don't want to talk about music and don't want to talk about messy shit. That's the whole point of this conversation. I'm explaining why the podcast flops, because y'all sit here and don't talk about music and don't talk about messy shit. Y'all sit here and don't talk about nothing. Y'all sit here and look at me and act irritated and act sleepy like you don't want to be there, like I'm holding you hostage. So go.
Viral is by myself.
I just can't believe what's
This is the only thing that's not working. This is the only thing that's not working.
I can't believe this wasn't put in a chat. Like, it wasn't.
I want to make the content. Yeah, I want to make.
If I put this in the chat instead of, because I did surprise them with this topic, it wasn't on the board, I didn't put it in the group chat. I did that because I wanted people to see a natural reaction. I wanted people to see a natural reaction to Auuntieee and Corey being called out for being quiet when it's music and drama topics. If I had let them know we was going to do that, they would have had some manufactured response and it wouldn't have been authentic. I think the reason why, because again, we ain't been clipped by Yazoo since before I got jumped by Rosecrans Vic and his people. So the reason why Yazoo is reposting, the reason why so many people are engaging with this episode, leaving comments, reposting it, it's on several clip pages, it's all over YouTube, is because it was a natural moment. I caught them off guard and called them out on being quiet whenever it's a music topic or a podcast drama topic.
I want to make the content.
Like, he wrote this shit on paper.
I want it to be content.
He sat down in his office and wrote that shit and
so it was on my chest.
I would never do people like that. I would never about y'all.
Well, that's how I feel when you sitting over there telling me to stop talking about Illa. That's how I feel. I would never do that to you. That's how I feel.
Absolutely. So obviously you guys remember when I was saying Illa and then was talking shit on Fair to Say. So the second I left Fair to Say, the very next episode, they had Scotty and Flacco on to bash me on that episode. Then they had Keem on some weeks after that to bash me some more. Yazoo Duno was on the show bashing me. They had clips like Dejon started all the drama on Fair to Say. Oh, all the drama and negativity is gone now that Dejon is gone from Fair to Say, even though we see that show as tanked since I left. But that is what they was pushing. So my response was, well, Illa, you was fucking old boy from the Apollo, and that's the only reason why you was telling me to apologize to the Apollo. When they was making gay jokes about me and I responded, you was telling me to apologize because you was getting dick. You was getting fucked by one of them instead of focusing on the podcast and your co-host. And so Ashley told me, let's not talk about Illa no more. I want us to stop talking about Illa. But my thing is, have you ever told them to stop talking about me? I doubt it. And that's not loyal. That's one-sided. That's not neutral. That's being one-sided. You pick the side you pick.
That's how I feel.
You know, that's my friend though. Just
You
like
see how
Corey,
friends is?
your friend, like,
When she sat over there and was talking shit about me on that podcast, even after you told me to stop, you don't check her. They get the fight.
You don't know the calls I've had with her where y'all need to stop doing this. Y'all need to stop going back and forth. Y'all need to sit down. Like, what is you talking about,
Everybody else gets to fight without restraint. I always have.
Corey yawning, that's when I knew I'm getting Corey off my show. I ain't gonna lie. When I watched the show back and saw him sitting there yawning, like he just was uninterested and didn't want to be there. That's why I didn't even put Corey in the thumbnail for this episode. I'm like, yeah, you gone, bro. You ruining the vibe. Like we having a messy, intense argument and you ain't really even got nothing to say, and then you gonna sit there and yawn like you just bored, ready to go.
Have to have somebody holding my arms back, tying my head behind my back.
I
feel like that's bad content. I'm keeping it professional.
Nobody holds
I'm talking about the content.
Next time, end it then. End it then. Don't.
It's not your show. Don't tell me when to end my show, wrap the season up. I end it when I want to end it. When you have your podcast, you do what you want to do. You don't call shots at Ace Boyz. You don't call shots at Ladies Night, clearly, because that got canceled on you. And you damn sure don't call shots at A Day in LA. This is my brand. This is my platform. This is A Day in LA by Dejon Paul. I end it when I'm ready to end it. If I didn't want to end it, I'm sitting in my office right now. If I want to pack all that shit up at that podcast studio, bring it right here, or bring on 3 new girls, or Ash Bash and 2 girls, or some new people, and we shoot a fucking episode right now with these cameras and these lights and the few mics I got over here, that's what the fuck I would do. Nobody tells me what the fuck to do. You know that. Stop it.
Prolong it 2
I can
months
prolong
later.
whatever I want to.
That's weird.
He just want us to be death row. He want us to be on.
I want us to be on one accord.
What do you want us to do?
Okay.
Death row.
I want us to be on one accord.
One
I want to see a
accord. House
show
divided
that's
gonna
on one
fall.
accord. If Apollo's coming at me, I said this on Fair to Say. I'm repeating myself.
It's so crazy. It's deja vu because that's literally the same reason why I left Fair to Say. It's the same issue I was having on Fair to Say. If I'm beefing with another podcast, if another podcast is talking shit about me, when I get to work to the podcast I'm on, me and my co-host should rally together and make content against them. When academics was talking shit, Back on Fit came together and rivaled him. It wasn't just T-Rail. When No Jumper talking shit, either AD, Pun, they all get together and rival. It's not just one of them rivaling while the other one sit there quiet, bored, act like he don't give a fuck. Because that wouldn't be entertaining. It's not clicking in their heads. They just think, oh, well, I showed up. I'm here every week. I'm sitting here, so I'm doing my job. No. You have to do more than just show up and sit there. You have to have something to say. You have to have an opinion. And if you don't, then you don't need to be on the show. If you don't have an opinion on music, if you don't have an opinion on LA hip hop, and if you don't have an opinion on messy podcast drama and controversy, what the fuck why are you on the show? What are you here for? Not to look cute. You get what I'm saying? Like, what's going on?
If Apollo is coming at me, calling me mook, which means faggot in Italian, I want to hear my co-host be like, damn, they got you fucked up. Don't say that about my friend, about my cousin, about my best friend, about my co-host. And that makes more entertaining content. But if it's just me sitting here going off on Apollo and it's me versus a group of 4 or 5 people, the same way I got jumped at Rolling Loud, I'll be getting jumped podcast-wise.
Exactly. That's exactly how I feel. That's the perfect analogy. The same way I went to Rolling Loud with people. I didn't go by myself. And I still somehow got jumped. It's the same thing that Corey and Auuntieee do when Apollo or Fair to Say or whoever say something about me negative. They sit there and they just go, oh, that's not on me. That's on y'all. They not talking to me. They talking to you. And it's like, no, we supposed to be a group. We supposed to be a podcast. We supposed to be a cast. If they talking shit about me, then that should be they talking shit about you. Because if they was talking shit about Corey, if they was talking shit about Auuntieee, I would be up in arms. I would have something to say. Again, I'm not saying we got to go bust windows, shoot nobody, harm nobody. I'm just saying I would have something to say. I would speak up on behalf of my co-host, and I shouldn't have to beg my co-host to speak up on my behalf. And that's the reason why the show not working out, and why honestly I don't want to do the show with them no more. To be honest, I really don't.
And the same people that was sitting, I know because I can fight, but the same people that was sitting there with me at Rolling Out watching me get jumped, that's what y'all doing. I'm letting y'all know that's what y'all do podcast-wise. Y'all sitting there watching me get jumped podcast-wise instead of helping me. And y'all think it might be doing something to me, but really it's doing something to you. Because your status in this content space would be much bigger had you gone at Apollo, Corey. Had you checked Illa or checked Fair to Say when I was going back and forth, you would have a bigger storyline.
I agree. So even if there's a secret part of them that enjoys watching people disrespect me, because people do be weird like that, so maybe there's a part of Corey or a part of Auuntieee that likes to see me get disrespected by Apollo or different podcast people, Fair to Say or whatnot. It's still, you think you heard me, but I'm still getting booked from by Complex and Good Talk and Something Dope for the People. Auuntieee just watched me grade 30 people in her face. She was like 31. 30 people get paid to grade 30 people in her face. My career as a rap critic and a journalist can survive getting called names on podcasts. However, it would definitely boost Auntie's career and give her more buzz in the content space if she was seen on camera defending her cousin, Dejon Paul. It would give her way more status out here on the West Coast and on our rap scene if she was like, this is my little cousin, y'all got him fucked up, woo, 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 da, da. If there was clips of that going around, it would definitely boost her status on this rap scene out here. I am a nigga out here, and having my back would definitely benefit her, but she don't see it that way. She too busy with her head up FMW ass. You been on FMW how many years? They never put out a project on you. Never. You never dropped a project on FMW. It wasn't until you got around me and was on my podcast that you finally put out some music. A body of work, Diva. Let's talk about it.
You would have a bigger buzz. You'd be able to leverage that. You'd be able to leverage that to your music.
Regardless, I don't care where I'm at on the whatever level.
I'm talking about what you'll be able to leverage. I'm speaking strictly business.
I don't give a fuck about that content shit. I don't.
But we're doing content. This is content.
We're doing content. I don't give a fuck about content on a podcast. It's crazy because it's like, again, you go to Ace Boyz Worldwide and you shake your ass, you show your titties, you play that whole role, and you do that without complaining, but you won't speak up on music or when somebody's disrespecting your cousin on a Dan Lane podcast. Cool.
Pull up and talk.
So you firing us?
I'm not. I just said I did not fire you.
I was not firing them. I was putting them on notice. I was giving them their final notice. Like, hey, we're going to take a break, get right. When we come back, I expect these changes to be made. But when people drunk, or maybe people only speak broken English, they don't speak fluent, proper English, they don't understand what I'm saying sometimes. And all I was saying was, we're going to take a break. Production's going to get their shit together. I hope my cast gets its shit together. Then we could come back stronger. Where in that is it, oh, you're fired? But if we gonna act like this, if we gonna respond like this to criticism, then we might as well wrap this shit up cast-wise.
Okay, well, that's how, maybe in Ebonics, that's how you fire people, but in English, the language I speak, we're going on break after the next episode because production told me. All
right, so yeah, again, Dan Lay Podcast is the only thing I do that's not viral. Everything else I do, from the rap report cards to all the lists, to all the memes, everything else goes viral, spreads around the timeline easily. Dan Lay is really the only like thorn on my rose per se, and I believe it's because it's indicative of me working with other people, or it's integral that I work with other people for a Dan Lay podcast. And other people don't have my work ethic, my drive, and they definitely don't have my smarts and intelligence. Because if you're a smart person and you're intelligent, you know, okay, I'm going to sit on a Dan Lay podcast. I'm going to have to talk about music, West Coast, LA music particularly, and I'm going to have to, you know, engage in controversy, because Dejon Paul is a controversial figure. If you don't want to engage in controversy and you don't want to talk about music, you don't need to be on a Dan Lay podcast. Let me say that again. If you do not want to talk about LA rap music and hip hop, and you don't want to talk about controversial topics, then you do not need to be on a Dan Lay podcast. It makes no sense for you to be on my podcast if every time we're talking about music, you get uninterested, and then every time I'm responding to someone who has dissed me for my opinion, you get uninterested and act bored and sleepy and irritated like you want to go home. Go home. All right, what other clip do we got? Am I wrong for keeping my podcast mostly about LA hip hop? Let's check it out.
Like, it's never that type of shit. It's always about music.
It's not always about music, though.
Am I lying, Corey?
It gotta be about a day in LA. It be a lot of shit that be going on in LA.
In LA,
but
overall.
It's not all just about music. Our warm-up section
98%.
do be having stuff that's not about music. It be stuff about FMW and No Jumper that you don't keep up with as well. It be podcast, West Coast podcast drama that y'all aren't abreast to as well. And if I chose to put 20 music topics on there, Complex Magazine is not tapping in with me about Shade Room topics. They tapping in with me about music. Los Angeles Times did not interview me twice about gossip shit. They interviewed me twice about music. Rolling Stone magazine interviewed me about music. They didn't care. They don't care about that.
So is that why we have to stay logically on music 98% of the time?
It's not about staying on music. It's about, I feel like as artists, as rappers, as musicians, y'all should feel comfortable talking about music.
I still feel that way. So when she brought this up, this conversation we had after Rich Trapper had pulled up, and we was talking about some music topic, and Auntie was like, dang, like, let's wrap this up. She was irritated. And Rich Trapper was like, damn, Dejon, you can't never talk about music, because that happened on Fair to Say. If you remember, when I was on Fair to Say, we had the big blow up about Dom Kennedy. I was on a Dom Kennedy album review per the topics on the screen, and Step put his feet up on the screen. Illa got up and went to go get something to drink. Scotty said, quote unquote, you know, we don't care about music. And so it gave Rich Trapper and me flashback PTSD to when that happened, when Auntie was like, let's wrap this music topic up in front of him. So this was like after that, we had a conversation, and she was like, you're talking about music too much. Everything's music, 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 music. And I'm like, well, one, aren't you a rapper? Like, aren't you an artist? Like, don't you love music? If you love music, you can talk about it all day. I love food. I can talk about food all day. I love music. I can talk about music all day. If a basketball player is on a podcast, he can talk about basketball for an hour. Like, our shows don't be 2-3 hours. Our shows be like an hour 10 minutes, hour 15. You can't talk about music for an hour, but you're a rapper? That means you don't love music. That means you rapping for money or for clicks and attention to go viral. If you love music, if you're a musician, you can talk about music for an hour. I promise you. And again, it's my show, my vision. So if I want to talk about whatever, fitted caps, that's what the fuck we're going to talk about this week. If not, get up and leave. We're talking about music on my show. Why? Because it's called A Day in LA. A Day in LA by Dejon Paul. That's the name of my magazine. That's the name of my magazine. In 2020, we was like, okay, let's go from magazine, because, you know, not too many people read physical, especially in LA. Not too many readers. Go from magazine to something they could watch and listen to, and that's when we start doing a podcast. I've been doing a daily podcast since 2020. I like to talk about music on my podcast. Since then, I have never had any co-host that really wanted to talk about music. Maybe one time I had a co-host that really wanted to talk about music, up until we got Ash Bash. I feel like Ash Bash is a good fit. Again, she got to work on her punctuality and attendance. She be slacking there, but when she does show up, and when she does show up timely, she gives a great performance. She can talk the messy shit, the girly shit, all that, but she could also talk about music, because you can tell she really loves hip-hop, which is why her bars are so phenomenal. And you can just tell when somebody loves music versus when somebody just make music for a hustle. You get what I'm saying? It's a difference between an artist and a rapper, in my opinion. What else? Oh, no, I wanted to respond to, once we got one last clip. We got one last clip to respond to. Here we go.
Now I'm in my own motherfucking domain. I tries to keep it real professional. Real, like, you know, chill, but you know what? What I'm never finna do is like, no nigga, no family, no cousin, no brother, no sister. You feel like I ain't even got no sister, but I'm gonna keep that shit a honey. Ain't nobody finna drag me through the motherfucking mud like I ain't no real ass, loyal ass. Come on, y'all.
You're not loyal. I think the issue here, the reason why this is such a sensitive topic for Auuntieee is because she's lying. And normally when you're lying, especially when you're lying to yourself, it's like a painful subject, a painful matter. You're not loyal to me. How could you be loyal to me when your friends are calling me mooks, faggots, and all of these things, and you're not speaking up? How is that loyalty? How are you loyal to me when I saw a video on Reddit the other day of Pun, when I had got grazed by the bullet and no jumper? Pun said, and I'm going to play it on the next episode if she show up. Pun said, I wish you got shot in the head. She just sat there. Somebody said, I wish your cousin got shot in the head in front of you and you sat there. How are you loyal? Now, again, I'm not holding this against you, because your prerogative is your prerogative. You ain't got to be loyal to me. I ain't never asked you for your loyalty. What I'm saying is, if you had been loyal, the show would be better. More people would watch the show if you was being loyal. By you not being loyal, you turn away people. That's what I'm saying. Nobody wants to sit there and watch a show where it's just Dejon versus them. People would watch a show if it was Dejon and Auuntieee going at people going at Dejon. That's what I'm saying. So this whole, I'm loyal thing, let's stop lying. Let's be real. Say you loyal to FMW. Say you loyal to them. Don't say you a loyal person, because you ain't been loyal to me.
If you ever got a problem with Auuntieee, let that shit be known right then and there. Please, don't be fake with me. If we ended it, nigga, end it. Okay? But be professional. Be professional. Put that shit in the motherfucking chat. And then I'm like, now I'm in my own motherfucking domain. But the real crazy part is, niggas knew I came from the FMW umbrella.
Duh.
We actually came from there together.
And?
So why wasn't it known that I couldn't still fuck with FMW? Like,
okay, so this is the reason why I brought this clip up. When somebody, please, I will do a whole podcast with no shirt on and no hat on. If somebody could please show me footage of where I said Auuntieee could not be on FMW anymore if she was going to be on my podcast. That's idiotic. I even commented here. I said, can somebody show me where I said she can't fuck with FMW? Did I not have Mark Nasty on the podcast twice? And she's the one who kicked Mark Nasty out the podcast. Mark Nasty was going to be the fourth person where Ashback shit. That said, that's where Mark Nasty was going to be, but she kicked him off and said he couldn't be on the show. So how am I so anti-FMW if I got Mark Nasty on the podcast twice before you kicked him off? I got interviewed by T-Rail after the Rolling Line incident on Back on Fig. I got interviewed by AD and Pun and AZ Chike after the Rolling Line incident on Community. Ace Boyz Pun called me and interviewed me when I dropped a song calling King Crackhead Mama a crackhead. So how the fuck am I telling you not to fuck with FMW when I still fuck with people at FMW? You're lying. You're lying to cover up the fact that you weren't loyal to your cousin and didn't stand up. I never told you to stop fucking with FMW. All I'm saying is, if you had stood up for me when you sitting on a damn lane, if you spoken to the mic, hey y'all, stop calling my cousin this, stop calling my cousin that, the XYZ woo woo. If you had said something on a Dan Lake podcast, it would have brought clicks to the show. It would have made people engage with the show. That's a factual statement. That's not even an opinion. I know for a fact that more people would have fucked with the show and fucked with Auuntieee Roll on the show if she stood up for me. That's not me saying you can't fuck with FMW. I never once said you can't fuck with FMW. I still fuck with people at FMW. Literally, just last week, like I just said, back on Fig, we posted like 4 or 5 of my memes and put it up on the screen and talked about it with RJ and shouted me out and said it was a good conversation starter. So how the fuck are you saying I told you not to fuck with FMW if I still fuck with people with FMW? Right before I got, not right before, but a couple hours before I got jumped, I saw T-Rail. I have it on camera. I saw T-Rail, AD, Smack, all of them. I dapped them up, said what's up, and kept it pushing. I don't have no issue with them niggas like that. I don't fuck with the Apollo. I don't fuck with Illa, who was fucking somebody at the Apollo. That's who I don't fuck with. And another thing, she sat on a Dan Lake podcast and said, I haven't been to Apollo this year. I haven't been to Apollo since I started this show. But just 5 months ago, you was on the Apollo. And I can pull that up on the screen as well. And I brought that up. Before she interrupted me, I was saying, well, when you went on the Apollo, I was going to say, when you went on the Apollo, did you at least speak up for me there? Because I didn't watch it, obviously. But I'm like, did you speak up for me? Did y'all say, like, hey, what's y'all beef for my cousin? What's going on? Y'all need to chill out with that woo-woo? I doubt it. But 5 months ago, and she been on this podcast for 7 months because we started in January. But 5 months ago, she went to the Apollo. And then she gonna sit on the podcast last week and lie and say she ain't been to the Apollo this year. She ain't been to the Apollo since before she was on this show. Cap. She's lying. She's lying about me telling her not to fuck with FMW. That's a blatant ass lie because I still fuck with people with FMW. And then she lied about saying she never went to the Apollo since she was on a damn like, girl, I could just search that up on YouTube. You're lying. Then you lying talking about you loyal to me. How you loyal to me, but you sat there while Pun said he wished I got shot in the head. And you didn't say nothing. You're not loyal to me. So that's 3 lies I'm pointing out about it.
Huh? Y'all.
Exactly. Huh?
Tonight episode, y'all. What the fuck?
All right, so again, Auntie's my big cousin. I love her. I love her to death. Nothing's going to change that. I'm always love my cousin. Do she get on my nerves sometimes when she drunk? Absolutely. I'm sure we all got a drunk cousin that get on our nerves sometimes. But at the end of the day, keep it a buck. You're not loyal to me. You loyal to FMW, and that's not a problem for me at all, baby. I'm strong and I'm used to it. Never in life. The only time I could think of it that somebody ever had my back and defended me was when Gina and Rucci and all them LA rappers was in that LA rap workshop we did after the first report card, and then Mustard came in there was like, nah, y'all leave him alone. You know, it's his report card. Let him have his opinion. This is good for the city. That's the only time I can ever think off the top of my head where somebody actually had my back and defended me and defended my name, defended my honor. Other than that, never in my life have I had anyone have my back. I don't need Auntie to have my back. All I'm saying is if she had my back, it would make for a better show. Do y'all get what I'm saying? Am I tripping? Let me know in the comments, am I wrong? If Auntie had stood up for me, if Auntie had showed me loyalty while sitting next to me on a Dan Lake podcast, would that make for better episodes than me ranting and her sitting there quiet? Especially since her and Corey not going to talk about music. Let me know in the comments and make sure you check out the next episode of the Dan Lake podcast because I'm sure it's going to be very heated. I'm sure she's going to see this and she's going to be even more pissed off once she see what I had to say here. We're going on like 40 minutes. Dang. I'll see you guys soon.